Come down to the Toucan Mall in Amelia's Ward, Linden. It's the mall that has it all. We have great food, a relaxing atmosphere, and activities for all ages. Tennis, swimming, and a playground. But the fun doesn't stop after dark. There's even a bar and an arcade. And if you aren't ready to go home yet, we've even got a spacious room for your comfort, complete with air conditioning, Wi-Fi, and a private bathroom. The Toucan Mall can also facilitate your event in our spacious conference hall. We also have a theater with films for the entire family. It's the Toucan Mall located in Amelia's Ward, Linden.
Okay, very good evening to all of my friends and relatives and well-wishers and all of you folks, beautiful people there in Guyana. Welcome to our program once again, and it's Thursday in September. It's History Mail again. We are in the month of September, and August will be back next year. It is amazing to know that we are already in September, and we really have missed a whole lot. We missed the entire summer, basically. Even though we have summer in Guyana almost all the time, we missed the summer months because they were taken away from us by COVID, by Corona. You know, talking about Corona, I learned that the numbers are going up. They're skyrocketing. I don't know. I don't know when you are going to take it serious enough to allow the country to open up. I don't know why you don't want to keep wearing your mask in public. I don't know why you don't want to follow the rules of safe distancing. And I don't know why you continue to break the rules that allows us to continue to be victims of a virus that takes so many lives. It's taken so many lives already. It seems like there are persons who don't believe that the virus exists. They probably believe that it's a joke and that virus doesn't bother Guyana. I don't know what they think, but you need to get serious about the virus and follow the rules, okay? The numbers are very high. I'm not sure what the numbers are now, but I know we are climbing faster than we can imagine. And when you put together the numbers based on the size of our population, it clearly indicates that we're not doing so well. We're not doing so well. So my friends, please follow the rules. Please adhere to the principles and policies. And we're back on curfew again, 6 to 6. That is because many of you don't want to do the right thing. You know, all I can do is advise you to at least comply and wear your mask. Wear your mask. I don't have on a mask at the moment because I'm indoors and I can actually not wear a mask because I'm alone. You know, I'm not. There's no one around me, and I'm keeping my safe distance. And you need to do it too. All right. Strange enough, we continue to talk about the best defense against any virus, particularly this one. And many of you would have maybe scoffed at what I was saying to you all along. However, recently, like days ago, it was realized that the best defense against this virus is a strong immune system. Believe it or not, and this came out from the health authorities that you really don't expect them to say that, but it was clear that there really isn't any other option. You know, the best defense is a strong offense. The best defense against the virus is your immune system functioning at peak levels. You know, I listened to someone in conversation, physician talking about uh, your diet and how your diet protects you and all of that, which is okay, but our foods are laden with chemicals. Many things we eat contain toxicity. We're not eating the kind of foods that are beneficial to us, many of us. We're consuming lots of foods that are basically not nutritious. I don't want to say junk foods. They're not very nutritious for us. And as a result of that, we are not going to be able to build a strong defense because we continue to put foods in our system that don't protect us. So you need to supplement. You need to supplement. You need to get you some antioxidants. You need to find you some strong high doses of vitamin C, vitamin D, lysine, zinc. You know, you need to protect yourself, and you also need to substitute and supplement. Don't depend on the food alone because many of us are not eating properly. Okay? So by supplementing, you're actually helping yourself to meet some requirements or to surpass the regular requirements that are needed to protect you from any virus, much less the coronavirus. This does not give you permission to go out there and not follow the rules. Don't test yourself against the virus because you're going to lose. Okay? Don't try to match the virus by going out there and being stupid and careless. You're going to lose. All right? If you don't need to be out there, don't go out there. If you don't need to go someplace to visit someone, call them, see how they're doing, say hi to them on the phone. You know, and while we're talking about doing that, continue also to safeguard your own self by cleansing your surroundings, cleaning the surroundings, wiping the doorknobs, the toilet handles, you know, your shoes before you put it in your house or you leave them in a garage or something until you need them. You know, when you get your products or produce from the supermarket, make sure you sanitize before you put them in your cupboards. Make sure you wash your hands thoroughly. You know, basic hygiene that you need to follow, right? Wash your face thoroughly when you go out. When you come back in, you wash your nostrils, you cleanse your hands, you know, you change your clothes, things like that. You know, it's basic hygiene that we need to practice that also will contribute to our betterment, right? And my friends, don't tell yourself that the virus is going to go away soon. It's going to be gone soon. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think this virus is here and it's here to stay. Okay? So let us protect ourselves and protect each other. All right? I'm also aware that there are many persons who are driving and taking our citizens about and are not following the safe distance regulations. Okay? The person that you hurt could be your own family. The person that you expose could be you or your family. Be cautious about everything. Be very cautious. I'm warning you, pleading with you to do so. All right? Now, today I would like to spend a few moments talking about cancer, and in this case, particularly colon cancer. It's a period of time when we discuss these things because of the death of someone who may be familiar to us, right? We would have lost one of the stars who performed in Black Panther, and it said that colon cancer was his cause of death, and he was fighting it for a while. Those are all things that we learned. But I want to say to you, my friends, colon cancer has no regard for age, for religion, for race, for popularity, or gender. Has no regard for any of that. Any one of you can have colon cancer. I know what I'm talking about. Okay? That is something that I'm quite familiar with. All right? Now, many persons are not aware that they have problems with their colons. Many persons may have constipation, may have diarrhea, may have difficulty defecating. And some persons are told and believe that defecating once a week or maybe once every 2 weeks is okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. When you eat foods like we eat on a daily basis, we need to be heading to the toilet at least once a day. At least once a day. We need to be defecating at least once a day. This thing about going to the toilet every 3 and 4 days, when you're eating 3 times per day or twice per day, and it's taking you 4 days to go to have a motion, it's not a good thing. Don't let anyone convince you that it's okay. It's not. You should be having the ability to ease your bowels or to defecate or to stool, as people say, at least once a day. Here's why. When you don't defecate or have a motion on a daily basis, and you're eating fair and square, you continue to reabsorb into your bloodstream the matter that should be excreted. Yes. What you should be getting out, if you don't do it, you're going to reabsorb the toxic residue from that into your bloodstream. And that might be a sign that you're having problems with your colon. There are many persons with polyps in their colons and don't even know it. There are benign tumors in there and they don't know it. There are tumors and they don't know it. You see, there are persons who are also having blockages and they're not aware of it. I'm telling you. It is very important, my friends, that you have daily motions, daily bowel movements. Very important. If you're having bleeding, it could be a hemorrhoid, but get yourself checked. It could be internal. Some persons are using too much bread, blocking them up. Too much flour, blocking them up. Some persons are having conditions that tells them without knowing that they're having intolerance to gluten and they don't know it. Some persons experience irritable bowel syndrome where you get pain in your tummy and the pain is relieved when you defecate and they don't know what it is. Some persons have pain when they defecate and they think it's okay because they got accustomed to the pain. It's not okay, my friends. It's not okay. You know, so don't wait until you're 50 to get yourself checked. If you're having unusual difficulty, unusual bouts of bowel troubles, of irregularities, you need to schedule yourself to get screened. And it's not difficult to get screened anymore. If you can't find a place to get screened, then you can visit the clinic and get screened. We can do it remotely. You visit the clinic, we can check you to make sure that there's not a problem with your bowels, that you're not having symptoms of colon cancer. You need to. Our population is just too small. We're not big enough to be able to allow deaths regularly in any way, in any form, particularly by cancer. We're already having enough deaths by accidents. Every time we turn around, somebody else died by accident. We're too reckless on the roads. You know, we think that the road is moving. The road is not moving. I don't see the roads moving. We're the ones that are moving and destroying the roads and destroying ourselves. I've said it many times that when we're building roads, we should also build paths for cyclists. Build a path for cyclists. Build a road wide enough so that you can draw a line and cyclists are to be made to ride within that path. And vehicles don't belong in that path. You know, we need to begin to enforce the rules. I think we have some roads where the lines are there. But what I see is minibuses and taxis are pulling up and dropping off persons in those pathways. And the bicycles are riding with the traffic. I think also sometimes we need to be edified. We need to be educated. Many persons don't know the purpose of that area on the road. Many cyclists don't even know it's designed for them. I'm telling you. I see cyclists riding and they're riding in the traffic with buses and cars and motorcycles, and the pathway is there and they don't use it. You know? So we need to be more conscious and we need to be more aware and we need to educate ourselves as to the purpose of things. And we also need to be concerned about each other on the roadways. We need to. Now, I want to touch on something today that I've been touching on many years. Many years, and welcome our new viewers to the program. I understand that we've got persons who are seeing the program in places that they weren't before. We want to thank the management and the operators and the technicians for providing that facility for repairing the damage. And I want to say to you folks out there that what is wrong with your TV not seeing the channel might just be your antenna. You may need to upgrade your antenna, or you may need to turn your antenna because it's not the channel anymore. It's your device. It's your antenna maybe and your ability to attract the channel to your television. Okay? I was made to understand that the local antennas are not really picking up channel 2, not in our areas that are outlined. I'm putting in a word here for Coltronics. I was told that Coltronics have an antenna that will allow you to pick up channel 2 from a distance. And I think the cost is 14,000, something like that. So it doesn't only pick up channel 2, it picks up many other channels. So you can go to Coltronics and you can pick up the antenna, or someone who has an antenna like the one that Coltronics has that will enable you to pick up the channel. Okay? So I want to thank you for reaching out, and we had this complaint a long time, and for fulfilling your obligation in providing the service or the ability for the citizens to be able to view the channel, right? Yes, I want to talk with you today about parasites, about protozoas, about worms, those creepy, crawly things that we adults, for the most part, think that worms don't bother adults. That is totally wrong and inaccurate. Worms affect any age, anyone at any age. Did you know that we have over 200, nearly 300 species of worms that we carry, that we can carry as humans? 300. And we have over 70 different protozoas that we can carry, we can pick up from our environments, from the animal that we eat, from the birds, from the vegetables, from the fruits, from our ancestors. Some of it came down, passed on to us. Yes, worms are very, very prevalent and are very destructive. I don't remember the last day that we screened a human that didn't have a worm or worms inside of them. I don't know the last day. Everyone that we screened had worms, almost everyone. Don't want to say everyone, but almost everyone. Hardly would we find a person without worms. And not just one worm or two types of worms, different types of worms like roundworm, tapeworm, flatworm, pinworm, all sorts of worms. And the worms have strange names, like you wouldn't believe that these worms have these names. Yes, you can even get worms from eating the scale of a fish, or from eating fish and beef and chicken, and you get the larva, and you get the protozoa, and you get the worm itself, and it goes on and on and on. Never tell yourself that you're too big to get worms. Never tell yourself that. Worms affect all of you, all of us, all of us. So don't believe that you're exempted from parasites. You're not. Okay? Now, because of the fact that we know you have the parasites, I want you to know, I'm getting texts here. I'm getting texts here. I want you to know that it's not something to be scared of or afraid. Okay? You don't need to be afraid of the worms. What you need to do is to deal with them, to get rid of them, to take something that can counteract the worms. And we have some old formulas that I can remember, like pawpaw seeds, crushing the pawpaw seeds and chewing them or swallowing them, or chewing them in your mouth. It's very strong, very, very strong. But that is one old remedy that I'm aware of, which can be utilized simply and will get rid of the worms. And there are many others. There are many others. You know, some people believe that that limes or lemons will get rid of worms. They only make the worms go mad. But they don't kill the worms. They only irritate the worms, and the worms will stir up more in your system. You know, but use things like garlic. Garlic also helps. Will help to kill some of the worms. You want to use like clove. You know, clove, strong clove, things that have a strong taste, pungent, strong taste. You know, you wanna make a concoction with those if you can. And there are many other things that people will use. I think one is oh, it just came and went out of my head, but not psyllium. There's another one that people use. Fruits. It's a fruit which is used to help to kill or destroy the worms. You know, but we have, as Guyanese, we have many different formulas, but you need to have in your home a combination of medicines, because not all worm medicine kills worms, all the worms. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. The average worm medicine does not kill the worms. Okay? It does not kill the worm. My operator is trying to signal me here. I'm not sure what she's signaling me, but I hope I'm doing it right. You know, so you need to have a some sort of a defense against the worms, because let me tell you what the worms will do. What you don't understand is that when you have these worms, and some people have worms by the hundreds, maybe thousands. When you have these worms in you, these worms will actually eat inside of you. They eat from you. Okay, they eat your nutrients. They mess inside of you. They multiply inside of you. They don't come out. They're eating, messing, and multiplying inside of you all at the same time at different times with the different worms. And some of these worms produce eggs by the hundreds. Okay? The worms that produce eggs by the thousands. Seriously. And these worms multiply. There are people who are sick. Let me tell you something. We've learned from our screening, and by the way, those of you who are planning to pick up refills for your ailments, please call ahead of time. Don't just show up, because it is not business as usual anymore. It is not. You know, imagine I went to conduct a transaction at the bank today, okay, and I had to make an appointment to speak to someone in the bank. Yes, you can't just walk in anymore and sit and wait. They're not allowing it. You have to make an appointment to go in there, and then you will see that person to discuss your problem. And it's not the same day. It doesn't happen the same day. No. So you call ahead of time and let the folks there know that you're coming and what your name is and your telephone number and your address, and don't tell them you're going and you don't show up. All right? Because next you're going to make it bad for others. Okay? And you must know also that the screening is not a quick fix situation. It doesn't happen quickly. The screening takes time. Let me tell you, there's some people who when we screen them, it takes at least 2 hours or more. One person trying to figure out and to find out and to find for them all of the things that are wrong with them. It's very thorough, my friends. So you prepare to spend some time, and you prepare to wait a little bit if you have to sit there and wait. You know, we allow you to sit and wait, right? Fortunately for you. Some of you can go and conduct your business and be called back to come, right? But plan to spend a couple of hours in the chair. Sometimes it'll take an hour because you may be doing a review and it doesn't take that long. But the average person will take some time to be screened, to be determined as to what is all wrong with you. And let me say this again to you, some of you don't believe um, what is discovered in you. Some of you don't believe that when we find these things that is wrong with you. But let me tell you something. We don't put the diagnosis in there. We don't. We cannot. When it is diagnosed that you have ailments, my friends, it is what your body is saying is wrong with it. And if you don't want to believe it, is your problem. At least we have done our job. Many persons who didn't believe it end up in hospital and they're dead now, some of them, because they doubted the findings. I'm telling you the truth. I don't believe in fibs and lies. So when you see the diagnosis, it may be difficult to accept. However, trust me, it's what's happening with your body. Get them fixed. One by one, two by two. Sometimes one thing fixes many. Yes. And we don't go looking for the worms when we check you. The worms present themselves in your body, okay? They do, right? I want to also tell you that we have, those of you who would have experienced Dr. Tatiana, she's also working along with us during the weekdays. And we are fortunate to have her expertise because that is the woman who taught me. That is my instructor. And that is the woman who teaches the doctors, one of them, all over the world. So for us to have her as part of our team, along with Joy and Oliver, it's amazing. I'm telling you, we are blessed to have her expertise, and I am very happy to have her, so that we can have persons who have different complications, or maybe tougher complications that are totally undetectable be detected. We find the undetectables in people. We find in people what is not found by many labs, maybe all labs. We don't use any reagents and any microscopes and all that stuff. We use your brain, your central nervous system, and your body. That's what we use. The best lab that we could find in the world is you, your body. Your body knows what is wrong with it, but you just don't know what is happening with you. So we are able to tap into your body and discover why you have ailments. And it's beautiful. Guaranteed accurate in the world, 96%. There's nothing else out there like that. Used in every major hospital in Europe and even in the United States. And it's FDA approved, if that makes any difference to you. It is. So when we find worms and we find protozoa and we find STDs and we find cancer and we find the coronavirus, some of you don't believe it's so awesome when we just in minutes tell you if you have the coronavirus or not. I know many persons, most persons don't understand, or they don't even know we do it. But every person who sits in our chairs is screened for the coronavirus. And yes, we do find them. Even the symptoms we find, even the little ones, even the ones that barely have it, we find it. We do. So when we find the worms, don't doubt it. When we find the STDs, my friends, don't doubt it. And let me talk about STDs a little bit. There are many persons walking around in our country, day by day, sleeping with partners, infecting them, and don't even know it. Yes. Many husbands and wives and girlfriends and boyfriends are walking around with STDs. And because they have no symptoms, they think it's okay, we don't have nothing. Because it is not found in the lab, they think it's okay, the lab didn't find it. And when we find it, you go to the lab don't find it, says, oh, that thing don't find nothing, it always find this and that. Trust me, we don't look for STDs. If they're in your body and we see it, It showed up because it's there. You need to understand that many times when you can't achieve objectives, you can't achieve erections, you can't achieve your you're having menstrual pains, discomforts, bleeding vaginally, discharges. Talking about discharges, I would say that many women in our population are having a discharge. Many women. And they're told that that discharge is normal. Well, let me tell you, it is not. It is not normal. If you are having a discharge, a vaginal discharge, or a penile discharge, most men would have these symptoms. They would not have symptoms of an STD. Most men don't. It's so dormant that they're not having it, but they're transmitting it. Most women are having the symptoms and don't recognize it. I'm saying to you, if you're having a discharge that is not your menstruation, your ovulation, or your orgasm, you are having a problem that needs resolution. It needs to be fixed. That is a problem that's going to cause you to have bigger, serious problems. Blockages of your tubes, blockages of your reproductive system, malfunctions, even as far as cancer. Do you know why you have cancer? Do you know why people get cancer in the uterus? Why they have uterine cancer, cervical cancer, ovarian cancer? Do you know? Do you really know? Do you know why men have prostate cancer? Do you really know? I don't think most of you know. I don't even think some doctors can tell you why. I don't think so. Many of you are walking around with the symptoms of cancer in your prostate, cancer in your uterus, in your ovaries, in your cervix, and you don't know it. But you're walking around with an STD. Yes? And you're transmitting it. There is no safety net out there anymore. There is none. You better protect yourself. Because like the coronavirus, you don't know who's walking around with an STD. You don't. And this season of the corona, where people are home and they're not going anywhere, a lot of STDs are being transmitted. Yes, and we're finding them. We are, and we're helping those who come forward. And some of those doubt, they don't believe. I feel sorry for you. You don't believe it? That's okay. One day, you will believe it, but it might be too late. The longer you have it, the harder it is to get rid of, because it affects various parts of your body, and we also find where it affects. We can tell you where the STD you have is affecting you in your body. Don't think it's only your reproductive area it affects. It affects your kidney, it affects even your brain, your eyes, even your eyes. Do you know that there are worms that live in the back of your eyes? Many of you are walking around thinking you have glaucoma, thinking you have cataract, when the worms are back there blocking the lens. We find all of that too. It may sound impossible to some of you, but we screen you for all those things and we can tell you if it's glaucoma, if it's cataract, or if it's worms. And many times, most times, it's not glaucoma, it's not cataract, but parasites. Worms are devious. They crawl through your muscles, they crawl through your arteries and blood vessels, they get into your brain. Worms get all into your heart. They get into your reproductive organs. Worms are vicious. They don't know where they're going, they just go. And wherever they feel comfortable, they mess, multiply, and eat. They don't only live in your colon, my friends, or at your rectum. They're all over. They're in your lymphatic system. Yes. Listen, even the simple mosquito can bring a larva and put it inside of you. The simple mosquito. There's some worms that are caused by mosquitoes. And we have a lot of mosquitoes. And many of you are bitten by mosquitoes all the time. You think when they bite you, they just bite you? No, my friends. No. They're bringing something and giving it to you. And they're leaving something with you. Why do you think you get malaria? How do you think you get it? You think it's because the mosquitoes fly and say, hi, malaria, here it is? No, it bites you. It bites you and it leaves something in you. Okay? So I'm saying this to say to you, my friends, even your homes, put the screens up, spend some money and build screens around your windows. The mesh is not expensive. Protect your homes, protect yourself from the mosquitoes from outside and the flies that bring salmonella and all of that. You think flies are healthy? When they land on your food, you think they just land? They're bringing something with them and leaving it there. Flies are dangerous too. I don't want to see a fly in my house. I don't want to see a mosquito. The moment I hear one, I'm looking for it all over. I detest the sound of a mosquito. And there's some flies who do the same thing. There's some people that are like flies. Seriously. They make a noise, they like a fly around you all the time, and they look into land and bring something. There's some people like mosquitoes. They're like pests. There's some people like that. And let me tell you, my friends, we have some very dishonest people in our midst. Very dishonest. You know, it's a sad thing. It's a sad thing to know that we cannot trust ourselves and trust each other. If you know someone who's dishonest, pray for them, talk with them, and help them to change the bad habit. We have some seriously dishonest people. But let me tell you something about dishonesty. Dishonesty does not pay. Dishonesty follows you. It follows you, it follows your children. Yes, it does. And some people who are dishonest end up in jail and end up dead. Dishonesty is not easy. Flies, mosquitoes, worms, all those things, you don't want them. Lies, you don't want them around you. You don't. You don't. I put them all in the same category. They all are dangerous. STDs, sexually transmitted diseases. It happens in the young, the very young, and the very old. There's some of the elderly people who are suffering, and they've been suffering and don't know why. And when we check, it's STDs that they've had for years. Carrying it and don't know that they're having a problem and why. Undiscovered, undetected. If I were out there hunting as a young man or so, I ain't gonna touch nobody until I know that you check thoroughly by that device, by Dr. Haynes' clinic, as they say. You gotta sit down in that chair. You gotta go to health and wellness, and we gotta get screened before I touch you. Yes, I would recommend that every couple who's considering to get married that didn't have any intercourse yet, to sit in those chairs, to make sure that you understand that I am clean and you're clean. Yes, because many married couples are not being able to produce, and they don't know why. They don't understand why. Why they're not able to produce? They don't know. Well, we know. We know. Well, I'm getting some tips. Right? He's excited about seeing his program, and he hasn't seen it in his house for years, maybe months or years. So he's telling me tips. Thanks for the tips. Right? He's reminding me that you need to walk daily, exercise. Walk daily. Like, I don't want to call him and tell you who he is, because you're going to want to probably call him and bug him all the time. You need to exercise. Many of you are home sitting down in those chairs watching television day and night. Get some exercise. Go out there and jump. If you can't walk on the streets, get a skipping rope and jump. Skip rope. Sweat it out. Get the body moving. Get the blood flowing. Circulation is very important to your survival. Many of you are having cramps and you're having numbness and you're having swellings and you're having pain and discomfort and you understand you want to take a pill. No, you need to exercise. Get off your fat derriere and exercise. Walk, at least walk or jump rope or something. Do push-ups or sit-ups or yoga. Do something. Get the body moving. Circulation is key to good health. Circulation is key to eye health. Many of you are not seeing because your arteries in your brain are too narrow and blocked with fats. Many of you are having high troubles and the